Born May 19, 1898, Rome, Italy. Died June 11, 1974, Rome, Italy.
Julius Evola, 1898–1974, was an Italian philosopher, esotericist, and political theorist whose work spans metaphysics, spirituality, and critiques of modernity. Evola is best known for his anti-modern, traditionalist philosophy, which draws heavily from ancient mystical and religious traditions, including Eastern philosophies, Hermeticism, and European esotericism. His influence, though controversial, extends through diverse circles, from spirituality to political theory, largely due to his critique of what he saw as the degenerative aspects of modern culture. Julius Evola was born into an aristocratic Sicilian family, giving him early exposure to the privileges and traditions of European nobility. After studying engineering, Evola served as an artillery officer in World War I, a transformative experience that intensified his disillusionment with the modern world. Turning away from academia, he became interested in art and joined the Dadaist movement in Italy, though he would later reject Dadaism as too modernist and nihilistic for his philosophical tastes. In the 1920s and 1930s, Evola developed his signature ideas about spirituality, politics, and metaphysics, publishing influential works like Revolt Against the Modern World, 1934, and The Doctrine of Awakening, 1943. Although he was associated with various far-right movements, he maintained an independent stance and was critical of many aspects of Italian fascism and National Socialism, believing they did not fully embrace the spiritual dimension of tradition.
Major works and key themes. Revolt Against the Modern World, 1934. Themes: Anti-Modernity, Traditionalism, Sacred Kingship, Degeneration of Society. Influence: Hinduism, Buddhism, Hermeticism, Roman and Greek antiquity.
In Revolt Against the Modern World, Evola argues that modernity represents a break from the traditional world, which was characterized by a hierarchically ordered society rooted in spiritual values. He outlines what he considers to be the primordial tradition, an ancient worldview that upholds spiritual hierarchy, sacred kingship, and divine law. Evola laments the decline of these principles, associating them with what he calls the Kali Yuga, a Hindu concept denoting a degenerate age. Evola sees modernity as dominated by materialism, secularism, and the pursuit of comfort at the expense of spiritual growth. His critique encompasses democracy, equality, and individualism, which he views as destructive to a spiritually grounded society. Through this work, Evola calls for a return to traditional values and a hierarchy based on spiritual merit rather than economic or political power.
The Doctrine of Awakening, 1943. Themes: Spiritual discipline, Buddhist philosophy, self-mastery, asceticism. Influence: Buddhism, Aryan tradition, Indo-Aryan mysticism.
The Doctrine of Awakening is an examination of early Buddhist teachings, especially those of Theravada Buddhism, as a path to spiritual enlightenment that aligns with Evola's idea of aristocratic individualism. He interprets Buddhist discipline not as a religion of renunciation but as a path to self-mastery, inner strength, and transcendence over mundane concerns. Evola emphasizes the idea of detachment from desires and emotions as a means to achieve personal liberation and suggests that the ancient Buddhist warrior monks embodied a higher, heroic spirituality that has been lost in modern Buddhism. In presenting Buddhism in this light, Evola connects it to his larger vision of an ascetic, disciplined life, free from the influence of modern society's material distractions.
Men Among the Ruins, 1953. Themes: Politics, anti-modern critique, tradition versus degeneration, authority. Influence: Roman law, ancient European societies, esotericism.
Men Among the Ruins is Evola's guide to political engagement in a world he sees as spiritually and morally decayed. Unlike his earlier works, which are more abstract, this book offers concrete political prescriptions aimed at reviving traditional values within a modern context. Evola argues that modern political structures are inherently flawed and advocates for a return to traditional forms of governance centered around authority, order, and hierarchy. This work is also notable for its emphasis on the concept of apolitia, a term borrowed from the ancient Greeks, which Evola interprets as a detached, principled stance that allows individuals to remain uncorrupted by the political and social decadence of their time. For Evola, men must act with inner autonomy and personal responsibility, refusing to compromise their principles, even when faced with a corrupted social order.
Ride the Tiger, 1961.
Themes: individual survival, inner discipline, adapting to modernity, self-overcoming. Influence: Nietzsche, Eastern mysticism, existentialism. In Ride the Tiger, Evola advises individuals on how to navigate modernity's challenges without succumbing to its values. He views modernity as an unstoppable force but believes that an individual can maintain a detached, resilient stance, metaphorically riding the tiger. This concept implies actively engaging with the world without becoming absorbed or affected by it. Evola suggests that those who cannot change the world should work on mastering themselves, transforming their inner life rather than seeking external validation. The book is heavily influenced by Nietzsche's philosophy of self-overcoming and inner strength, combined with elements of Eastern mysticism. Evola argues for an inner revolution that allows individuals to transcend social conditioning and find spiritual fulfillment outside the norms of contemporary society.
Key themes in Evola's philosophy. Traditionalism and sacred order.
Central to Evola's philosophy is the idea of a sacred, traditional order that governs societies before the advent of modernity. He believed that true authority is spiritual in nature, grounded in a hierarchical order that reflects cosmic principles. Evola's notion of traditionalism involves an eternal set of values drawn from ancient wisdom traditions, which he contrasts with the instability and materialism of modernity.
The anti-modern critique.
Evola's critique of modernity includes a condemnation of democracy, materialism, and secularism. He saw these aspects as evidence of society's moral and spiritual decline, leading to the fragmentation of cultural and personal identities. His rejection of modernity encompasses its egalitarian ethos, which he argued undermines the natural hierarchy that he believed should be based on merit and spiritual attainment.
Asceticism and self-mastery.
A recurring theme in Evola's work is the emphasis on self-discipline and inner transformation. Drawing from both Eastern and Western spiritual traditions, he viewed self-mastery and asceticism as paths to transcendence. He believed that a disciplined, ascetic lifestyle could enable individuals to detach from the corrupting influences of modern society and achieve higher spiritual states.
Heroism and the warrior ethos.
Evola admired the archetype of the hero and the warrior, seeing it as embodying qualities of courage, honor, and inner strength. He often invoked the warrior spirit as a way for individuals to resist the complacency and decadence of the modern age. His writings are filled with references to warriors and ascetics who maintain their integrity in the face of a spiritually decayed world, serving as models for others to emulate.
Esoteric knowledge and the occult.
Evola was deeply interested in the mystical and esoteric traditions of both the East and West. His work often references Hermeticism, alchemy, and other mystical disciplines that he viewed as preserving ancient wisdom. Evola saw the occult as a means of accessing higher knowledge and uncovering hidden truths about the self and the universe, emphasizing the importance of initiation and spiritual practice in personal development.
Legacy and influence.
Julius Evola's ideas have had a lasting influence, though often polarizing, particularly in conservative and esoteric circles. He is regarded as one of the key figures in the Traditionalist movement, alongside René Guénon, and his critiques of modernity resonate with readers interested in spirituality, philosophy, and critiques of contemporary culture. However, Evola's associations with far-right politics and his controversial views on hierarchy and race have led to considerable debate and criticism. Evola's philosophical works continue to inspire those who seek alternative paths to personal fulfillment and spiritual growth outside mainstream society. His ideas about individualism, resilience, and detachment in the face of modern challenges remain relevant to those who feel alienated from contemporary values. While his work is not without significant controversy, Evola's complex exploration of traditionalism and spirituality has cemented his place as a significant, if divisive, figure in 20th-century philosophy and esoteric thought.